Hey everybody, this is Linda from Colourwerx Designs and welcome back into week number 3 of the ModBox QuiltAlong. This week is all about starting to piece your blocks together. So let's get started. So here we are, and remember last week, at the end of last week, we combined our fabrics into different combinations. So here are my A blocks, and I've got my B strips combined with all of my A blocks. And I'm going to start to sew the strips onto the blocks. And the way this goes together is you just simply take your first A block, and you put your B strips, which are the shorter strips, to the top and bottom of that block, and then you press outward. And then when that's done, you'll put on the longer B strip and press outward. And when you're done with that, then just make sure that you look at the benchmark measurement in the pattern to make sure that you're on the right track in case you need to adjust your 1/4 inch seam. So I finished sewing my first A block to my B strips, or B strips to A block, and you can see I've pressed all the seams outward towards the strips. Now I'm just going to continue on and do this with all of my different block combinations. So I'm not going to worry about the background fabrics yet, just combining in combination my blocks with my strips. So there you go. All my blocks are complete. They're all pieced together. And that's pretty much it for week number 3 here. In preparation for putting it all together next week for week number 4, what I'm going to do is actually start to lay out my first vertical row, and this is for week number 3 here in preparation of week number 4. So I'm going to follow these diagrams, figure 8 and 9, on page 5. One thing that I've done, because I find it confusing when I'm using a background material that is a different color than the white and black in the diagrams here, is I've taken my 2 purple backgrounds that I'm using and I've labeled, if you notice, one white and one black. And so that way, when I look at this diagram and I start to lay out my first vertical row in preparation for week number 4 to put it all together, I don't have to really think about it. I know that this one is white and this one is black when I look at the diagram. So I'm going to lay this out, and that'll be the end of week number 3. Also keep in mind that if you have an older pattern, an older version of the pattern, do check our website under Colourwerx.com under the pattern tab or the shop tab for the corrections. There is a new revised figure 12 for you to look at. So before you go gangbusters laying everything out, especially if you're doing the large lap quilt and you're using half yards, make sure that you get the revised figure 12 that's available on our website. Most of the newer patterns already have it revised in it, but just make sure that you double check and follow the enclosed pattern insert or the new figure 12 that is on the website. So that's it. Next week, we're going to start putting the whole quilt together and lay out all of our background fabrics and piece all the rows together in vertical rows. So I'll see you next week for the final week of our ModBox QuiltAlong. Until then, happy coloricious quilting, everybody.